Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So, we know what's coming tomorrow night, but just in case you've been living under a rock and not keeping up with the social media from the Another Eden Global channel, as well as the live stream or their social media accounts, you'll know that the newest chapter, or I guess the epilogue or whatever you want to call it, of The Wanderer in the Vortex is about to release tomorrow evening, about 24 hours from now. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So this last, or chapter I guess you can call it, is called Wanderer in the Binding Night. So hopefully it ties up a lot of loose ends. We are supposed to find out what happens to Nona and kind of, how her story concludes. And of course, with this chapter does come two brand new units, one of which is another form or another extra style ES, as well as a brand new one, the Wolf Lady on the left. And of course, you do have to have finished The Wanderer in the Vortex, The End of History. Now, this was a side quest. I don't know how many chapters in that you had to do in order to actually unlock it and then do it separately. And it is a fairly long side quest. I did not record it, but it is there in the Eret village. If you haven't checked out, make sure you have no blue exclamation marks to clear. After that, of course, you do have to be updated to the newest version 3.1.200. Now, this is the same version that we're on from what I remember. And so I'm not sure if everything's already preloaded, but this looks to be an in-game app. So we'll see how that gets updated, because usually with large updates, you would think a new version number. Now, that being said, at the conclusion of this chapter, you should have the ability to get AS Nona for free. Haven't done too much research into her, but I imagine she should be pretty cool. If she's still a Shade Bode user, then we'll see what her capabilities are. If it's anything like Clark, how Clark became from the normal style to the AS, I'm hoping that Nona AS has some value, both as a free-to-play unit as well as fitting into today's meta. Now, that being said, everyone's probably looking forward to the two newest units, Sesta, as well as ES Toova. And so, quickly speaking, Sesta is a brand new character, no other form, and so if you do want her, this is the first chance you can get her in an upgraded banner. She is a wind/unit katana, and she is a first unit of its kind to be able to, depending on what kind of, I guess, your party build, she can start Wind Zone and awakens it at the same time right as the battle starts. So you don't have to activate a move. All you have to do is have 4 wind character in the front line. So if you are using a mono element wind team, she is wind as well, so 3 others. Then you're going to start with Awakened Wind Zone. And if she has Awakened Wind Zone active, she gets a stack called the Divine Wolf stack at the beginning of every turn. So the Wind Zone will activate first, and then she'll get the stack. And if you have a 5-star version and you activate the stack, which replaces the basic move, she's going to do a bunch of moves in a row, which does heavy amounts of damage, sets up everything at once. Now, the animation obviously is extremely long, but if you do this outside of AF, it really doesn't matter anyways. To make a long story short, she would go do 5 moves in a row, no MP consumed. What it's going to do is it's going to do power, int, and speed boosted to the whole party. If she's in, again, this is conditional based on Awakened Wind Zone. If it's not in Awakened Wind Zone, she will also not get the got that charge at the beginning of each turn. So you have to find ways to kind of either maintain Awakened Wind Zone, because normally Awakened Zones last 2 turns, or if the enemy breaks zone during HP stoppers and other things. That being said, again, conditional to her having Awakened Wind Zone, she's going to give everyone power, int, and speed plus 100%. So capped boost, status immunity shield to all party members for 3 times, followed by things like her attack will ignore target defense. This is 1 attack. It will also stack Elemental Break Wind, and they'll do a bunch of attacks of Wind Slash, that will also apply wind type res down 100%, and then it will boost everyone, actually boost herself crit damage up to 100%, and gives herself singular focus. What that means is it's kind of like mental focus for physical users. She's the first of her kind to have that. That's going to shoot her damage through the roof. Like if you use magic units and you apply mental focus versus not applying mental focus, you'll see the massive amounts of difference. I haven't run any numbers because I'm not really a mathematician, so to speak, but apparently with the damage formula, and I'm sure there's ways to calculate that, that's going to give her massive amounts of damage. And finally, she's going to finish off with a move that, again, in Awakened Wind Zone and activated through this kind of 5-turn, like 5-move stack. 7,000 mod, which is crazy. One of the highest mods in the game, if not the highest mod in the game. And also this attack, also of course, barrier pierce and so on and so forth. So cheap. One of the newest powerful units out there. She actually does have abilities to kind of heal and restore her MP and HP, but really what you're supposed to do is try to, when you start her in the beginning of the game, fight, you have 3 other wind users, you're going to have Awakened Wind Zone right off the bat, and I imagine it'll be like Flash Strike, where it will replace other zones as long as, because your zone would probably take effect after the boss's zone. And then, like I said, try to find ways to maintain or recast Awakened Wind Zone such that she's going to get a stack at the beginning of each turn. Crazy stuff. ES Toova is also very interesting. Now, many of us do have Toova in some form already. However, the newest version actually is a Shade Water unit. And so I know you guys already have a ton of powerful Shade units, aka Ify and Yakumo, but she is a great support for that. She is the second unit that has Prayer, the first one being ES Mariel, which was also released in one of the earlier chapters of the Apocrypha. It can give a kind of status called Cooperation to all party members, and it also sings. The stack it gives will allow each of your members on your team in the front line, when it attacks, it'll follow up with an additional Shade attack right after that. And I imagine that each of those attacks should charge the AF bar, although I'm not 100% sure about that. That should make it so that, for example, in a Shade Zone, and you can do that with Ify, you're going to get an AF bar in one turn, even if you've already done an AF. So this is going to be very interesting. With the prayer effects, you have other things that upon activation heals the party, regenerates MP, and shielding. It'll be like a 30% damage or multiple, up to 50% damage. So think oratorial, so 50% half damage basically. And she also has a special effect, Banshee Stakes, which basically means she will not be targeted at all by single target attacks. She will give herself an HP shield with other moves, and if she's not targeted by single attacks, as long as you have a tank, aka AS Radius, or blood contract with Ify, you'll be able to allow her to continue praying, which gives you all those benefits. Plus, her attack is relatively decent as well. Definitely supports Shade teams very well. So of course, not only are there 2 new characters, there will be a full chapter and another dungeon, which I'm imagining should be an addition to the Mysterious Vortex, although again, I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'll find out when I eventually finish this content, being that tomorrow is going to be a big update night and summoning session for many of us. I will try to get to everything when I get to everything, and I do think that there is a super boss at the end of all this. Again, can't guarantee that I will be attempting it right away, but I'll do my best and we'll see how that goes. Now, for those who spend money, this is a big one. There's obviously Fateful Encounters 3 times max, which will feature various amounts of units. But what we really want to see is the Stardream Encounter, paid 1 time only. So again, for those who are new to the game, new to the channel, or just relatively new in game, I welcome you to another Eden. Hopefully your journey has been quite good so far. A Stardream is a paid banner, so you do have to spend money. However, for exchange of your hard-earned money, you do get to select any unit in the game up to this update. So Sesta, ES Toova, and all the other powerful units up to now are able to be summoned with the Star Dream encounter. This is one of those that we wait for, and it comes out, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year. Used to be a lot more rare, but now a little bit less rare. If you're wondering who to select on the Star Dream, I did have a video out last night, and I will put the link in this video below, just so you can check out my thoughts and considerations about who to select with the Star Dream. I know it's not out until tomorrow night, but you know, for many of you, you're probably already thinking ahead of time which units you might want to consider, and hopefully my guide or my opinions do give you some idea of what to aim for, at least what to consider as well. Alright, so again, that's fine, and there's other banners where you can get very powerful units as well. So there's another Fateful 2x max where you can get Sesta as a 15% instead of 10%, as well as Yifa AS and Cyan Scyther, all wind units by the way, and Yifa AS obviously is a very high level support unit. There's another one that you can get all the shade units, ES Toova 15% uprate, as well as Yakumo and Ifi 7.5%, which is those are very powerful units as well. And there are another Faithful Encounter, which you can get one of these other 4 units, all of which have some use in the game. Very, very powerful banners, actually. The series of banners for this Faithful is quite crazy. Among the best selection of banners I've seen in most recent times, even though they are paid. So free players, unfortunately free-to-plays, do not have access to these, but you can imagine, you know, if you are willing to spend a little bit of money and want to support the game, this is a great opportunity to do so. And finally, the last banner, probably not nearly as exciting, but still, some people like extra style. ES Suzette, my waifu of course, Iska, Nagi, Sukiya, and Melina. Okay, so again, if you've played everything through, you can replay some of the Apocrypha. And there's just be some extra sorting for personality. So that'll be fun too. Any quality of life to sort from WSS will be very, very good. What I'm hoping for in the near future or in the future in general, sorting the grass stuff so I can burn through a lot of crappy grass stuff that I have hundreds and hundreds of. It's in a set order and I can't do anything about that. So WFS, if you're watching or listening, I really need to get rid of those. I need to burn them for, you know, special fragments or other things like that. So you can clearly see that because they have this new mechanic, Wind Zone, Enhanced Wind Zone, and Flash Strike are kind of probably going to have the same timing. So again, for those who use Melissa and stuff, it does activate after the boss has established a zone. Okay, so lots to consider, lots to think about, and lots to spend on if you're willing to spend some real money. Also, lots to spend on if you're willing to spend free-to-play stones, which I know many of you are. I myself will be pulling on this banner. Not sure how much I'm going to be spending on it. You know, it's great to have a new unit, but there are budgets to be set, and I'm really hoping I don't exceed them, unlike the last few where it's been pretty painful for my banner. I think Yakumo, I did spend a fair bit, and I only got 1 5-star out of all that spending. So I'm really hoping that this banner is a lot better treating to me. Other than that, I will have my Should You Summon video tomorrow evening, and then like I said, do some summoning, and probably won't have any other uploads. The story is probably going to take some time, and so I will slowly kind of work my way through that over the next few days to a week. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.